Hey, welcome back to another episode of Tomorrow Needs You, a Minutes Wisely podcast. Today we're here with Marine veteran Casey. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Just got off of work, so it's a beautiful day out. It's finally not raining here in Middle Tennessee.
Nice.
It's been raining for like 10 days, man. It's
Yeah, we got that coastal stuff down here in Florida. It's raining every day for like I want to say 9 days straight.
yeah. Are you near like Pensacola or Justin?
Pensacola is in the Panhandle. We're all the way to the right of that, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville side.
Yep.
Okay, I got you. I was wondering if you ever saw like the Blue Angels just out there wheeling around the beach.
Yeah. So we have three naval bases, and they actually come over here and practice a lot. So we see them almost all the time.
Yeah. Well, I was in the Navy. I was stationed in Alameda, California, which is in the Bay of San Francisco. And whenever they did San Francisco Fleet Week, the Blue Angels did their show right in the city. It was amazing.
Nice, nice. It's a sight to behold, no
Yeah.
doubt.
I had to kick my dogs out. Somebody's coming in the door and they'll start barking.
hmm
So, you were in the Marine Corps. What brought you to the Marine Corps? Why did you choose? Was it
Okay, so
uniform?
funny story. This I just told my wife this too because she asked. My cousin, love him to death. He was bad into bad stuff. Let's say that.
Yeah.
He got in trouble, had to go in. And I was like, honestly, this is my thought process. It's like if my cousin could do it, I can freaking do it. So my choices in my small town was Army and Marine Corps, and the Army door was shut. So I was like, I'm
Oh,
getting out of this small town that the only thing they did was sawmill. So I'm not working in a plant, and
yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. I get that, man. I was washing dishes when I was a teenager, and the dude next to me, I was washing dishes next, like he was like a middle aged man, and I'm like, man, like I'm not built for school. I don't want to go to college. I hated school, so I was like, I do not want to be washing dishes 30 years from now. So I went down and talked to the recruiter, and yeah, all the recruiters where I was at, where I grew up, they were all in the basement of this high rise, and all of them were there one after another. And I talked to them all, and I thought about Coast Guard, but, because I was from Michigan, so, there's a lot of Coast Guard bases around Michigan, but I wanted
Mhm.
to get away, right? If I'm giving up my life, I wanna see the world. So, it was either I came down to the Navy or the Marine Corps, and, the Marine Corps is just they're too intense, man.
For sure. For sure. Going back, I love my Corps.
Yeah,
Rep it till I die, but
yeah, of course.
that Air Force looked pretty nice after you got out, you know? Like, that would have been good.
Yeah, so, I mean, it worked out. I was, 20 years old, and I sailed 4 continents, so they say
Dang.
join the Navy and see the world, but all you see is ocean. But I mean, we're pretty fortunate. We stopped at a bunch of places, so I actually walked on 4 continents, so that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. The best the military gave me was California for boot camp, Camp Lejeune for all of my service, and then Iraq. That's that's all I got. So you got way more than me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at a cot, I guess you could call it a cot. Like they call it a coffin. There's literally no room in there. If you turn around, you're smashing your head into something. But at least they didn't have to sleep in the dirt.
Yeah, yeah. Lucky you.
So, how was boot camp? The crucible, man. Like I hear everybody talk about it, but obviously I've never experienced it.
It was definitely challenging. Yeah, I would say it was very challenging, especially the last hill, the big mountain. That one, yeah, man, I can't put it in the words. If once you are at the base of it and you just see like a Jeep or a 3 ton, 5 ton start crawling up and it just looks vertical from the distance, it's a bad time. But for the most part, it's definitely doable because you get so much training beforehand.
Yeah, that's true. And, you guys did 12 weeks, right? I think you're the only branch that does 12 weeks.
We did, yeah, 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah,
3 months. And then we did, I think it's a month or a month and a half of mountain training. And then we go to our MOS.
right on. What point did you get your EGA? Is that right after the crucible?
So when I went in 2006, they had it, the crucible in the center after the rifle range, like center. And they then you earned it, but you didn't earn it until you were done with boot camp at that point.
I
And
got
then now I think they did a little switch, back and forth over in San Diego.
you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I always thought they did it right after the Crucible. But so I asked every Marine this, did you cry when they gave it to you?
I definitely teared up. Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna try to be big about it. You definitely feel the emotion. It's just in the air. It's like very thick. You can like cut it with a knife, like they say.
Yeah, 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 I bet. Well, that's awesome, man. What what year were you in Iraq, and what part of Iraq did you go to?
I was in Al Assad in 2009.
Was it, 2009? So that was kinda later, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I joined a little bit later, a year after high school. So I poked
Yeah,
around for a year, but I deployed in 2009. We were out there for 7 months, I believe, 6, 7 months. And we were starting to tear down Al Assad a little bit and starting pulling back some of our gear, closing shop a little bit to, I believe, just to not forfeit it, but just give it over to the army to maintain at that point. So I was really at the back end of it, but we were still running operations and all that kind of stuff.
yeah. I have a buddy that was a Marine, and, he was in Ramadi in, like, '06, and he said it was like a bloodbath. It was bad.
Hmm.
I couldn't imagine, man. Again, thank God I joined the Navy.
You just got a tinnitus from it, right? Firing
Yeah.
the big guns.
You know what? I do have, tinnitus, quite a pretty hardcore. So, yeah, when you're standing on the flight deck, man, you have like a so when I was in the Tomcat was still around, you have a Tomcat standing, sitting right next to you, and it's on a catapult at full afterburners for a few minutes before it takes off. Man, the energy that thing puts out, man, you like your chest just pounds, and you have earplugs in, plus you're wearing a cranial with the, big ear muffs, and it's like still like doesn't do anything, man. And now
Mhm.
I just get to hear tinnitus for the rest of my life, I guess.
Yeah, that constant buzzing,
Yeah,
don't you love it?
yeah. The VA gave me these hearing aids, but they're not like hearing aids that just pumps in like a white noise to
Mhm.
try to to counteract the tinnitus. They work pretty good when I wear them.
Of course, well, they're uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Like, my wife has
exactly.
them because she has bad tinnitus. I have a friend that the VA actually gave, it's like a pillow, a normal pillow, but it has a white noise machine or something like that in the pillow, so it helps them sleep. So maybe that's something to look into.
Well, they also sent me a white noise. Looks like a little Bluetooth speaker that I have on my counter, so I listen to like waves all night long. So it definitely does help.
Nice.
Yeah. Along with my CPAP. I just got my CPAP from 'em too.
Dude, I have one and I hate it. I hate it. I feel suffocated every night. So half the time I wear it, half the time I still wake up the same things, like
Yeah.
not restful or anything.
Yeah, so it's definitely helped me a lot. Like, I was just, like, beat down. Like, I would have to take a car nap at work for 20 minutes, then when I got home, I took a nap. Like, I was just freaking a zombie. I s got the CPAP about 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, it's night and day difference, but when people ask me, "How is it?" and, like, "How do you get used to it?" I'm like, "Well, just imagine an octopus stuck to your face. Try to sleep with that."
Yeah, that's funny. My son calls it the face huggers from Alien.
Yeah.
He refers to it and all that stuff the same way.
Yeah. So, I mean, it definitely helps, but, I mean, I'd prefer not to have one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, how I met you is I saw you on TikTok, and you were talking about cancer and that you're a veteran, and that's what piqued my interest because I'm also a veteran that was dealing with cancer too. So, do you know, can we talk about the type of cancer and how do you think you got it? Was it from, like, burn pits or do you know? Is there
Yeah,
any way to pinpoint it?
I don't know if I can pinpoint it because after you do some research, you start digging into it. You've been exposed everywhere, even places you don't even think, you could have got it. But I am completely open with it. That's why I started a nonprofit to talk about it anyway. So I had testicular cancer, so it's ball cancer, for everyone, wondering or didn't know. So I had an infected ball. swelled up to probably about 3 sizes too large, like the Grinch, right? And it moved. What's the word? Metastasized or something? Whatever. It moved to my left kidney area on the lymph node that swelled up to a grapefruit size tumor, completely crushing it for the most part. I was in stage 1, going in stage 2 kidney failure because of it. And so I got my treatment and everything. It's really susceptible to actual chemo. So that was my option, not surgery, besides to remove the testy. But
Yeah.
chemo was the biggest pain in my rear with it. But in regards to where I possibly got it, I was on Camp Lejeune. I'm not saying that there's still toxic there because of, back in the day, but there's a lot of stuff that gets leaked into the ground that just absorbs and never comes out. Just saying. But I was also working with radio and satellite communications before that. That was my MOS. We have a lot of examples that if you put like a popcorn bag in front of some of these dishes that's transmitting, it will pop it. So what happens when you shut it down and you go across the sand, to pick up trash and crap,
Right.
you might have been exposed to it at that point.
Correct.
And then, of course, I was over at Iraq. It was on the later side of it, but we still had a dump pit. We still had stuff in the air, in the sand, our gear. Like if you start going down the rabbit hole, there's not one spot that you can automatically pinpoint to it. There's multiples, and you can just take your pick at that point.
Yeah. Did the did you go to the VA for your treatment, or did you go private doctor? How'd that work?
Ye Great question, great question. Yes, I was in Illinois, near Chicago, so I went to North, Chicago VA, Lovell, I believe it was, and, I went to my primary care. They said I had back pain, so I was like, "Oh, I'm hurting." For the next 4 months, I kept going to their ER, their primary care, and they just kept saying, "If you can lift your legs, like, lay down, lift your legs up 90 degrees, we can't run a CT scan, we can't run X-rays, we can't do anything. You might have a bowel obstruction, so you need to take starts with an M. You get it for like $2 at Costco. Human Drano, basically.
Yeah, Metamucil?
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah, they told me that back pain. I was had spasms. They did all this for like 5 months until I went to a civilian doctor, ER, and they were like, "We think you got kidney cancer," because all they did was they did a CT of my chest or my stomach, saw that grapefruit sized tumor, and was like, "Oh yeah." Then I went, I got my oncologist, my urologist, and they were like, "No, you had testicular cancer that already moved."
Wow.
So I ended up getting community care, which is great. If you're getting cancer stuff
Yeah.
in the VA, I personally, I know the VA can be very competent with their stuff in certain
Yeah.
areas. My area at the time was not competent. So go community care if you get the option. Get a civilian doctor, you'll be treated just fine.
Yeah, so I didn't start seeing the VA until after my cancer. So cancer, as we all know, that it's very expensive. You can't afford to get cancer in this country. And I had health insurance. So I went through civilian urologist, and every time I would go to like a PET scan, there's $1,800. MRI, there goes another $1,200. Like I was just getting nickel and dime, but thousands, thousands of dollars every time I went. And so my cap was like $8,000 or whatever. So I spent, you know, way too much more money than I would like to. So as I was healing, that's when I started going to the VA. So I figured if I go to the start because I've never been to the VA. I just wanted to get my foot in the door because if the cancer came back, I wanted them in my back pocket so I didn't have to pay all that money again. But when I went there, my primary care at the VA, he asked me, he goes, "Are you switching all your stuff over to the VA?" And I said, "Well, I kind of want to do like a hybrid thing, I want to go because I don't really, I didn't tell him this. I don't really trust him. So I'm gonna stay here, but, every time you guys tell me something, I'm gonna verify it with my primary care over here." And so, as I was building up and he says, "Do you want to, transfer your urology here too?" I was like, "No, I'm gonna stay with the guy that saved my life." But then he says, "Well, we could do community care also." And I said, "All right, well, cool. Sign me up for that as long as I get to still see Dr. Heiler." Because I mean, when you have cancer, if I had the cold or whatever, I have no problem going to the VA urgent care, whatever. Do s Like, but cancer, man, That's heavy, man. Very heavy.
Yeah, 100%. Like, whatever the worse you feel, as soon as you hear the words, you have a tumor or you have cancer,
Yeah,
whatever mental health, you racked up, like your high spirit plummets. You are down in the dirt at that point, and then you're looking for them for advice, and you're looking around and you're like, this is a dirty facility. Why would I trust them if they can't even clean right now? I'm not saying all of them are, but there's great VAs, and then there's some that could use a lot of improvement.
correct. Yeah.
But yeah, trusting them with your life, I would always refer people to get a second opinion if possible.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to keep both of them. Like, if one tells me something, I go to the other one and see what, bounce it off of them. But also, when I was going through it, like I said earlier, I was 59 years old, and I was looking at, retirement in the next couple of years. Then I was like, "Well, shit, I can't retire now because nobody's ever gonna give me health insurance because I have cancer now." Right, I mean, I could, but it just cost me a freaking small fortune if I'm not working,
Mhm.
like, once you retire, then you're on that fixed income. Like, I can't afford to do that, so I have to keep working to keep my medical. But then, that's when I light bulb went off, like, let's try out the VA and see how that works out, so
Yeah, yeah, it's a great if you can pull it off to do a hybrid, have insurance cover the bulk of it until you hit your premium. If you have approval for community care, they will cover usually the copays and then any out
yeah,
pocket stuff for you.
correct.
And that's a good tool to utilize. It's just no one really talks about it too much. You have to do your own research.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and, I'll be honest with you, 'cause I was in the Navy in the '80s, like, when the original Top Gun was filmed, it was filmed on my ship, 2 of my friends were in it, so that's my claim to fame, but it was a long time ago. So, when when I got out of the Navy, they never told me about the VA. I knew about the VA, I've been to the VA, but just to go visit the patients and stuff, I just assumed the VA was full of World War II and Vietnam guys missing limbs. I had no idea it was open to me. Nobody told me. Fast forward, 40 years, I went down there and they're like, "Yeah, here's a card." And the next thing I know, I'm 80%. And when you're 80%, you get fast track, you're priority one, no copays. It's great. I'm like, damn, why didn't somebody tell me about this a long time ago? So I talk about that a lot just because people don't know. If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, there's so many programs that are overfunded but underutilized in the VA, and information is not something that they like to share a lot of.
Right.
Besides, like their Move program or their substance abuse program, stuff like that. But like that kind of stuff, no one knows how to actually file a claim. No one knows what they can claim unless they do a lot of research or how to really advocate for the betterment of their health, when they're in the doctor's chair or not doctor's chair, the patient room in front
Right.
of the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. 'Cause when I first filed, the guy was just like, here, fill this form out. I filled it out, but I didn't give him really any information. I just said, I have these issues and it all stems from the Navy. Denied, denied, denied. I'm like, well, okay, I guess I don't rate for it, right? And then somebody said, no, you have to you need nexus letters. You have to like spoon feed them.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, or it'll be a long drawn out. I
Yeah.
think the normal turnaround used to be 225 days from start to finish because they'll send you a letter. You have 30 days to reply, and back and forth, back and forth. So yeah, it's a struggle.
Yeah. They weren't even they just automatically denied me, right? They didn't even say why or anything. I guess they did, but you have to be a lawyer to read the crap that they send you back. So I didn't know, but I finally found out VSO, and he's like, "No, this is how you got to do it." you know, because my original claim was from a guy like God love him and everything, but he didn't do that for a living. He was just a VSO at like a DAV or something.
Mhm.
And but if you're listening and you need some help, go see an actual VSO.
Yeah, and another thing, you don't have to get a lawyer. Like the
Right.
lawyer's going to do the exact same thing as a free VSO or what is it, VAD or DAV
D-
will do. It's free. You don't have to pay a dime, and you don't have to take a portion of your back pay to pay these vultures off.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. If you have a lawyer do it, man, they're gonna like a lot of them take like a 25%. I'm like, that back pay is huge, man. I'm not giving anybody 25% of that.
No, no way. I had a buddy. It took him over 2 years to get his claim, and he went from like 10 or 20% to 100. That back pay was like close to $40,000. So he would have lost a good chunk of change
Yeah.
for that.
One of my good buddies here, he's in the Marine Corps, and his back pay was $80,000, man. He paid off his house, bought a motorcycle, and just hit the road.
Smart man. I'm surprised he didn't get an RV and just just go. That's what I would have done if I could.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to travel the world on a motorcycle, man.
No, no. At least it's a good one, hopefully, and not a junker.
I'm like, "Well, that's the life, man." You just like, I'll see him on Facebook, he'll be in Colorado, next day he's in, like, Arizona, like, he just puts the miles on, man.
Hmm.
So, that's pretty awesome. Are you 100%?
Yeah, yeah. I got 100%. I was stuck at 80 for, or sorry, 90 for a long time. And then I got cancer. And then I got residuals from cancer because you can't get, like we talked about slightly before, you can't get a cancer diagnosis without having a secondary condition that's what they're actually diagnosing you and giving you
Yeah.
benefits for.
Mhm.
After you can get 100% while you're in active treatment, like a temporary, like unemployability status. But as soon as you're done, they'll drop you back down and you have to claim residuals to get anything from it. So I was lucky enough to get 100%, unlucky enough to get cancer, but I'm
Yeah,
here to tell the tale and the word of it, to people that's listening that you
yes.
can do other stuff. You're not locked in.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now, I'm stuck at 80%, but they're looking at the cancer right now, but I know, like you said, once you get past the point of where, you're out of the danger zone, they drop you back. But I'm looking at, like ED and, incontinence claims, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, see, a lot of people don't know if you got to that 100% mark, permanent and total, you can get those special monthly compensations, which gives you a little bit more, like ED or housebound. Say you have bad PTSD and you can't leave the house.
Mhm.
You can get housebound, and that's like 400, 500 extra bucks on top of your stuff that really helps out later,
Yeah,
as it adds up.
yeah. I have a couple people that I work with, man, I don't know if they really make fun of me, but, I mean, we joke around all the time, so I don't feel like they're making fun of me, but they're, like, jealous that I get this money, man, but, like, I was like, "Okay, I saw a guy get sucked into an intake of a jet. You want that on your brain?" So I don't know if it's worth the $2,200 they sent me.
No, no, I'd rather not have the money and not see something like that. That is not on my bucket list.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I've seen, like, 4 people die on a carrier, and one of them got, he he got pushed from one jet exhaust over into a full afterburner, and the afterburner just smoked him, and he bounced off the JBD, which is the jet blast deflector that comes up off so the flames go up, right? And he bounced off the jet blast deflector and went 100 feet in the air, landed in the ocean, and one of our support, boats picked him up, but obviously he was already dead. He was dead instantly. But, that's the kinda stuff that you have to deal with on a carrier. So, that's where I got my PTSD from, the 80
Mhm.
just
Yeah, that's rough.
yeah.
That's some rough stuff there.
Yeah. But, that's why my hat's off to anybody that joins the military, man, even if it's peacetime, because even at peacetime, people die. Like, these guys, they're out there practicing, they're doing their daily thing just like it is, like, you're in wartime. There's never any downtime. And then when one of those guys dies on the flight deck, guess what? They, scoop them up, put them in a bag. 30 seconds later, you're catching another airplane or one's taking off. They don't give you time to grieve, and I think that's probably the worst part is the no time to, like, let it go, You're just man, you just basically throw them off to the side and, just keep rolling, man. It's crazy.
It is. That's why they give us dog tags. We're serialized.
Yeah.
We're gear. Not saying that I don't love, what we've done, what we've accomplished in the military since we started back in the day, but there's definitely room for a lot of improvement
Yes.
in our military. I'm not saying go woke. Nothing crazy like that. We need a good fighting force to protect us and to keep fighting, but there's definitely got to be some give and take, some change, some not everyone's a serial number. We need some more human element back into our service and, still have a competent fighting force.
Correct. Yeah, like, I work in a manufacturing now, I'm a IT guy, I don't work in manufacturing, but my office, I support manufacturing, and, there's a lot of presses, 2-ton presses and all this stuff, and if somebody was to get crushed or died in a workplace, mishap, they would shut the place down for weeks and have grief counselors and, priests and everything else lined up in there to help people. In the military, man, that's just, bag them up, move on, and, got work to do.
Yeah, the mission continues.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, that it's a very sad aspect of it. We're just lucky enough to still be here, to
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
honest. Like we
Yeah,
had kids leading kids back in the day,
yeah, yeah, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. I love my experience in the Navy, hanging out, doing that kinda stuff, but it takes a special person, that's for sure. I think that's why there's only 1% of us.
That is true. Yeah, we're a very low percentage,
Yeah,
but we're one of the loudest percentages.
yeah, 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 I do love that too. Yeah. So, what's your, you said you had a podcast. What's your podcast about?
Yeah, so my podcast or my wife's and I, we tag team. We're both she's a female veteran or Marine Corps veteran too. I,
Nice.
I couldn't marry a civilian girl because she couldn't get it. She couldn't understand the craziness of it. But yeah, it's called a Veteran Cancer Talk, and we bring on veterans that have cancer or had cancer or caregivers, and then other resources, different nonprofits, different organizations that are doing something related to veteran and, trying to help them with some kind of cancer.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love it. This podcast, it grew a little bit more than what I thought it was, and it started making a little bit of money. So it was not my goal to profit off of other people's stories, and sit around bullshit. I didn't. I just do it just because I love talking to veterans. So I took that money and I hired a CPA and I started a nonprofit. And so now Minutes Wisely is a nonprofit that sends veterans, first responders, and Gold Star family members to awesome sporting events. So it's kind of our way to get them out of the house, get them out of isolation, get them to a game. And it's not just any game. Like it's like we'll like roll out the red carpet, buy tickets that they would never spend that kind of money for a ticket. So they could see how great life really is, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it costs me $1,000 to send somebody to a great game, they have a great time, that $1,000 is peanuts to me, you know what I'm saying? I got him out of his house, him or her out of their house, and showed him a great time, and, that's kinda what we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Not enough of that is going around. I don't think that just goodwill, and then you drop the nonprofit status on top of that. That just proves that you're doing it for the right reasons. The
Yes.
ones that do this kind of stuff start making money off of veterans suffering, their stories and stuff.
Yeah.
I really just cannot respect because they're making money off of someone else's trauma, and I just can't do that. That's why we started our nonprofit. We're strictly volunteers. Every ounce of any kind of money we raise or bring in gets funneled right back into either a cancer research is what we're working on next, or it goes back into like marketing material for just bringing up more awareness.
Yeah. Heck yeah, I love that. Yeah, and ever since my, when I was going through my cancer thing, laying in on that PET scan for 45 minutes and, they pump you full of that crap where you're like glowing. It's scary as hell. So the whole time I'm going through this, I'm thinking, man, I'm a grown ass man and I'm this scared. I couldn't imagine what a child would, what they're going through, or even the parents of a child, even worse. So once I healed up and got on the back in the saddle again, so to speak, I opened up the nonprofit Minutes Wisely so we still do that. Our bread and butter is still sending vets to awesome events, whether it be concerts, NFL games, whatever. But now we find veterans that are dealing with childhood cancer. Like, say, for instance, I had a veteran here. He has a 9-year-old son, has a brain tumor, and he had brain surgery like 3 years ago. This first visit back to check on it, the tumor had already started growing back. So I sat down with the family without the child, just the mom and dad. And I asked them, like, what can we do, to just brighten his day? And, my thought was because he loves Tennessee football, like, maybe send him and his dad to, like, a Tennessee, bowl game or something in Florida, but then I was like, the logistics of that would be just too hard. First of all, they don't wanna put him on an airplane because, they don't wanna expose him to all these other germs, and, I don't really know if Tennessee's actually gonna get a bowl game or where it's gonna be at, so during that, conversation with the mom and the dad, the mom kept saying, "All he wants to do is build a lightsaber." I had no idea what a building lights I'm not a Star Wars guy. I don't even know what the hell that means. So, apparently in Disney, they have a whole Star Wars world, right? So, I hired a Disney planner, and we planned out this badass vacation, and, we sent a family of 4 to Disney World for an entire week, and we paid for the entire bit of it. They didn't pull a dollar out of their pocket, and that little boy got to build his, lightsaber.
That is phenomenal. My wife and I are well, my wife now is a travel agent too, so we know the cost of that. That is
Yeah,
so expensive
yeah,
to spend even a weekend at Disney right now, you know,
yeah,
let alone a whole week plus the experience, plus, room and
yeah,
board. I
yeah.
give it to you, man. That's a lot.
The room was, we actually I was adamant too, like, the room has to be on property, and it's gotta be central, so because he's gonna be in a wheelchair. So they put him in, like, a more expensive hotel, like, I don't even care about the cheap ones, like, whatever makes this family comfortable for a week, you know? So, yeah, it worked out great, and, we had a big, fundraiser and you know, community came together, and, we set him off, man, it was great.
That
I
is
love doing that.
phenomenal.
I love doing
I love to hear that because I think the only other nonprofit I know for a fact is Gary Sinise,
yeah.
Lieutenant Dan, for people that don't. He has a great nonprofit that they do that with Gold Star kids and other related. But that's yeah, that kudos on you for being able to pull that money together, do the tickets plus that.
Yep. So, like I said, I'm only 13 months from my surgery. Just in those 13 months, I blessed 3 families that are dealing with childhood cancer. And I thought before I found out I had cancer, like my nonprofit's fairly new, not even 5 years old yet. I thought last year was going to be my breakout. The words getting out, we're really steamrolling. And then I got told I had cancer in December of 2024, and I was wrecked. Like, I'm like, oh, great. Wow, I think so. April 23rd, I had surgery, but I was adamant about still keeping it going, right? Even though we didn't have any meetings, I was able, while fighting cancer, send 93 people to amazing events along with
Wow.
along with the 3 kids that, we blessed. The one we went sent to, Disney, the one little boy who was with the president of the United States, the little guy that wanted to be a police officer, so
Hmm.
now he goes around to the country and gets sworn in. I flew him and his father from Houston, Texas, up to, Detroit, Michigan, where he was, sworn in at 3 different police departments. That was on a Saturday. The next day on a Sunday, I took him and his dad to a Detroit Lions game. Again, like, way up front seats, the whole 9 yards. The, Detroit Lions saw this kid, because they have those face recognition cameras in there. We came out of I took the little guy to the pro shop, and I said, "Hey, pick out a jersey, whatever you want, man." He's like, "Oh, I can't spend that kind of money." I'm like, "No, it's on me, man. Like, I got you." I mean, he's 13 years old, and he's got, terminal cancer. Like, come on, man. Let's do this up right for him. So I buy
Hmm.
him his jersey, get him his food, and as we're walking out, one of the Detroit Lions reps, he's all suited up. He's got a gift bag. It's like, "Hey, DJ, I just wanted to welcome you to the Detroit Lions." I gave him this gift bag, and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, come on down. We're going to take you down on the field and meet the players." It was the coolest thing ever, and that wasn't even planned.
That's awesome.
And then the other little boy, he's a 2-year, yep, man, the cutest little dude ever. His name's Maverick, 2 years old. His birthday was in December, so he just turned 2. He just started a 3-year chemo program, and he's in and out of the hospital. And so what we did for him, but the family was not financially set. And every time the little guy's in the hospital at least once a week. Every time he gets a fever, he has to go to the hospital. So he's literally in the hospital more than he's at home. So I did a crawfish boil, and I was able to give the family $5,000 to help. cover costs of gas and hotels or food or whatever they needed, and, it was freaking awesome, man. I love doing that.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're doing some great work out there, man. I can only hope our nonprofit one day can be able to do something like that. Right now, we are definitely just focused on advocacy and
Yeah.
small little fundraisers over there. But yeah, man, you're doing it, and that's the dream. That's the feel. That's probably what got you some good karma to catch your stuff early. You know.
So, hey, no kidding, because I suddenly hook up these little kids now that have cancer, I tell everybody, I feel like God touched my forehead and gave me cancer, but then he healed me because he wanted me to go down a certain path. That's truly how I feel. So,
Dude, I completely get it. I didn't say this yet. My treatment was like 3 months, roughly, give or take. Right during my first round of chemo, I scratched a pimple on my face. I had no, like no immune system. Went into sepsis
holy
for a week right before Christmas. I'm hallucinating basically, and I swear to goodness, I was close to seeing the light. I was like, hey, if you save me here, I will try to do better stuff. I will stop doing what I'm doing and I'll start focusing on better stuff.
yeah,
Ever since then, we slowly, I'm going into hopefully my fifth and last year of surveillance remission, 5 years. But I am, ever since then, we have slowly built up to starting our own nonprofit to try to do better and to do, try to get to a point where we can help out the most amount of people we can.
yeah, that's amazing. Hell yeah. Well, if you ever, need any help or anything, man, let me know. I'd love to help out if I can.
Yeah, man. Hey, so as we talked about earlier, our whole goal is to talk to veterans and caregivers because a lot of people forget about caregivers when
Yeah.
it comes to cancer
Yep.
and organizations. What we're doing is compiling a network of organizations that have stuff that we can't offer. So we identify someone, we can be like, hey, I know this nonprofit over here, go talk to them or we'll make that introduction so maybe they can help like travel or a meals on wheels kind of situation or housing or maybe they're celebrating going into remission
Yeah.
and maybe you can help them out on that
Yeah.
one. Who knows?
100%. Yeah. I love helping people out, man.
But yeah, we knew starting our nonprofit that we are not going to be able to play ball because we have no funds for the most part. We have a little bit of funds, like self funding for the most part, but we can make connections with other people that do have these great programs that are underutilized
Yeah.
right now. And we need to make those connections. So that's what we've been focusing on for 7, 8 months now, roughly, is just making those connections, getting the word out. And we're just trying to bring so much awareness to this cause. And
Yeah.
honestly, I haven't even got into the numbers, but it's crazy the amount of veterans getting cancer.
Yeah. Yeah. It is crazy. When I sense when a veteran or a first responder to a game or concert, the only thing I ask, man, I have a couple of, prerequisites here besides being a veteran or a first responder. Number one, I need you to take pictures and send to me because the smile on somebody's face is worth all the hard work that we put into it, right? And
Hmm.
the second one is just don't sell your tickets. If you can't cold call me and I'll find somebody else.
100%.
Yeah, that's it, man. Just send me a smiling picture so I can put it on my website, and I love it, man. It gives me motivation to keep going, because I do all this. I do the nonprofit, I do the podcast. I actually have a couple podcasts. I talk sports on Sundays, and then I work, 50, 60 hours a week. So people are working like, how the hell do you find time for all this? I'm like, well, my kids are all grown adults and they're out of the house. So if I was like, what am I going to do now? Just dig in. Let's go.
Yeah, we do a podcast, like I said, and we only release videos like 2 times a month, first and 15th for the most part. So if you're freaking doing some on Sunday too,
Yeah.
dude, you're doing a lot.
I actually had 3 of them at one time. I was talking about cancer. I had the Hope Cast, and, me and another guy who I met in a, support group had the same cancer I had. He was about 6 months ahead of me, and we were doing a podcast, and we had people on, and we just talk about living with cancer, and, his cancer came back, and, now he's fighting it again, so he didn't have time to do it, so we kinda put the brakes on that one a little bit. So,
Yeah, a lot of people don't know if you beat cancer one time, you had to get treatment one time, you're definitely at a higher risk of getting a different cancer later on if you don't watch out and keep surveillance going. Um,
yes, for sure.
but yeah, it's scary. Like once you have it, it sucks. You have it and it's always on your mind. It lives rent free.
It sure does, and, it was dragging me down. This is kinda like before I had surgery too, even after I had surgery, like, my mindset wasn't right, and, I could feel myself getting depressed, so, like, when I first went to the VA, they first thing they out of their mouth was, "Do you wanna talk to anybody about mental health?" And I said, "No, I don't want to, because I don't like to talk about mental health for my problems. I'd rather help somebody else out." But then after, the my barrel the way I explain it was I carry around a 5-gallon bucket, and every time something bad happens, I stuff it in the bucket. Well, the bucket overflowed, especially when I had cancer, so I reached back out to the VA and said, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna take you up on that, getting some mental health," and it helped me out, leaps and bounds, just being able to talk about it and just get it off my chest, and the VA was so cool about it, they even sent me to so I had my own personal therapist, and then they sent me and my wife to family counseling also because of the ED. We've been married for 34 years, and we have a solid relationship, but once you cut that out, man, it's like, "Oh, something's gonna give," right? And so they sent us to, community care for that one, and, it's been a godsend, for real.
Yeah, you have to, especially with any ailment like mental health to, or like PTSD to cancer to any other, bad thing that can happen to you. It's always best to talk. Even if you're talking to yourself in the camera, like if you don't like being on camera, get on camera. This has helped me so much being on camera, talking about my ailments, my problems, my PTSD, my lack of energy, all that stuff, my problems with the VA sometimes in community care. But if you don't talk about it, no one knows about it. So you don't know what to tell people when you get the opportunity to actually talk about it.
Correct.
So my advice, just talk.
Yeah,
Talk to people
definitely.
about it.
Yeah, yeah. Find a friend, find somebody, man. Shit, call one of us. And, yeah, just call and talk. And also, once I started to talk to somebody, I put my mindset into I told myself, like, "Cancer may take my life, but it will never take my will to live." And that's kinda what I leaned on, and that helped out tremendously.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. If you have a good attitude about it, like, hey, this is going to work. I don't like to say manifest, but if you manifest that is going to work, it puts you in the right mood to actually take on a big battle like that because it will zap you. It will strain your mental health. But as long as you keep that idea that, hey, this isn't going to beat me, it's going to have a hell of a hard time winning.
Yeah, for sure. And there's so many, like, layers. It's like this big giant onion. You just peel a layer off and there's something else there, like, not you're not the only one that's going through it. Your wife is going through it with you. I don't know if you have any kids, but, my kids went through it with me. I mean, like, it was rough on the entire family.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Married, have kids. My son at the time, he's turning 12, so it's 5
Nice.
years ago, like 6, 7.
Yeah.
He didn't know what was going on, but he just knew daddy was sick, daddy was tired, daddy was a bump on the log for a handful of months.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I think maybe that was the worst part. The morning that, they had me strapped into that bed and there before they took me off to the OR, they brought my wife in and my 3 kids were there, and like I said, they're all grown, but, having them stand over you looking at you, it's the most helpless feeling ever.
Yeah, but it also, like, I know that feeling. I've been there. I've talked to people that have that same feeling or the caregivers watching it too, but there is something about the military mentality of like, I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm
Yeah,
going to put all my faith in this. You handle it. You like giving up that control is hard for military people, but we do like once we give it up, we can actually start feeling better until we can take back control later on when we're starting to feel better.
yeah,
And it's just a weird kind of mindset with that, like it's crazy. I don't know if I explained it properly or not, but you got to give up control to get it back later, hopefully.
for sure. Yeah, 'cause, one day you're the, one fixing everything. Next thing you know, they're the ones that are trying to help fix you, and it's not I don't know. I appreciate my family for being there for me, but, it just sucks that it had to happen, but, you know.
It put you down a different path, man. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like we were meant for one thing, and then that crossroads. You got to go down this one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, 2 weeks before, my doctor told me that, one of my shipmates is trying to call me. Hold on. So, his wife is going through cancer right now.
Mm.
Couple weeks before that, I started going through all the tests for cancer where my doctor said, "Hey, there's something wrong." I took my dog to the vet, and, my wife's like he's a German Shepherd, beautiful dog, like, he's from Germany. Took him to the vet 'cause he had this thing on his paw, and the vet says, "Oh, yeah, sorry, your dog has cancer." And I was, like, devastated, man, but then I was like, "You know what? I'm not gonna let this bring me down. There's human beings that are out there that are suffering with cancer, you know, and so I'm not gonna let it." I mean, I still love the guy and everything, the dog, but, I'm just not gonna let it bring me down. And then, 2 weeks later, my doctor's like, "Yeah, you got cancer." And I was like, "God damn it."
My gosh, man, that's crazy. I actually have a story for you too on the same thing. I have a German Shepherd pup, right? A couple weeks, I wouldn't say 2 weeks, but at least a couple weeks, he still has stitches. We got him, neutered. And then come to find out, I had to get one pulled out too. And like my wife took a picture of me with the dog cone on because he healed before me.
So here
Yeah, it's just it's nuts, man. This stuff just happens. Like when it's meant to be, it just kind of lines up, good or bad. It will line up, and you just got to figure out what's going on later.
Mhm. Yeah. It has a way of humbling you, that's for sure, you know? You're riding high, you think, you're bulletproof, next thing you know, you're laying on a bed with the robot ripping you apart.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Pretty much.
Yeah. So, I don't know how they did yours, but the robot actually did my surgery. So the surgeon was, like, over there in the corner just looking in a scope, doing his thing while I didn't wanna Google it before surgery, but I Googled it after my surgery, and I was like, "Holy hell, man," like, this octopus thing with, like, 6 arms is doing shit inside your guts. So it's bizarre, man.
No, you got the microscopic surgery, I believe, right? Little pin
Yeah.
pokes
So
everywhere. Yeah.
I have 6 holes. Most of them are, like, this big. The one where they pulled the prostate out is only this big, so, yeah, it's very,
Man,
very fortunate.
that's nuts. No, no, I had the original way where they just dice me up and just yank it one side out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Which, honestly, I do have another story on that one too. Like, I'm all about, trying to preserve those kind of memories because I knew something was going to happen later on that I would talk about this kind of stuff, right? So I asked my surgeon, my urologist that did the surgery, I was like, "Hey, can you record this?" And give it to me later. I don't know if I was just already under a little bit and was loopy, but whatever I told him, he thought that I said, take a picture and go show my wife of my testy outside my body. So now I have this bloody testy on my phone in large, and my wife's like making these faces. She will not let me live it down. I do not believe I told the doctor to do that. I wanted a recording of like them taking it out. I would want to watch that. I did my research and knew exactly what was going to happen. But no, he thought it was fun to go show my wife.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I'd wanna see that either. You should make that your profile picture on social media.
Dude, you're gonna get me banned. Put in Facebook jail or something.
And before I had a nonprofit, I lived in Facebook jail, man, just because of my mouth, you know? I love riling people up, but after I started my nonprofit, people are like, "Well, you're running a nonprofit now, you might wanna tone it down a little bit." I'm like, "Yeah, it's kinda hard to, promote a nonprofit when you can't even get on social media."
Yeah, when the head of your nonprofit is throwing out like blah 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 blah, oh, can't find them on socials.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
get it. My wife chills me out. Like most of the time, I'll put a reply or something, and I was like, delete
yeah.
just in case. Let me run it through the wife.
My wife, when we first got married, she used to yell at me all the time. She's like, "Richard, you can't talk to him like that." I'm like, "What? Why not?" Not everybody was in the military. I was like, "My bad."
Yeah, some people might be a little sensitive.
Yeah, like,
Don't get that dark humor.
if it's in here, it just comes out, you know? And then I'm like, I had one of my wife's friends just literally like a month ago, she said to me, "I'd hate to see what's inside your head." I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty weird in there."
Well, it's not boring.
Yeah, that is true, man. Alright, well, do you have a website before we, hang up? Do you have one?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. If anyone wants to, so I have a few things on my website I want to, if you don't mind me point out. So it's called the VeteranCancerNetwork.org. And on that site, if you are a veteran 45 years or older, we have a free partnership or a free blood test through our partner, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, where they will send you this top of the line. It's already been approved by TRICARE for Life, but it's being evaluated for FDA approval, but it's a single blood draw cancer test that can test for 50 different cancers in one blood draw. And they'll mail it to your local phlebotomist, and then they'll mail it back to them to do the testing. It's called the Sentinel Study. It's halfway down our page. If you're 45 or older veteran, go to it, get your free test. There's only, I think, like 800 more that they can give out because they had a Department of War grant for this test, so it's already paid for. Go ahead and do that. And the second thing is, we would love anyone that hears this to know that we're boots on the ground, sort of say, but with bicycles. So we are actually bicycling from North Florida to DC on the 13th of this month of June to advocate. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. We're not cyclists or anything, but we're advocating for better screening practices in the VA, better protocols. So people under 45, because the first test you can get for cancer is 45, which is ridiculous because we have kids that get cancer and everyone in between that get cancer. So why put a barrier, a age-based barrier? Let's do a risk-based barrier. If
yeah,
you were deployed, if you were in the military, if you were, I don't know, in a building that has asbestos or something, you can be, why stop you from getting a screening? So we can accomplish that one day. We'll get better outcomes for all. But we're making this ride as 15 days roughly from here to Washington, D.C. And then we're advocating on the Hill in a little bit before the 4th of July. So
nice.
we're calling it Pedal for Impact, excuse me. And yeah, it's going to be a long ride. My wife and I are the only ones doing it. And if
What?
anyone cycles, we have everything on our website. If you want to meet us at a location or ride with us for a few miles, we're open to it.
Wow, that's awesome and crazy at the same time.
I would say more crazy, to be honest. We might have logged like 400 miles in training for the last 7 months, in preparation. We're not very good at prepping, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're both Marines, so I feel like
Yeah.
you're gonna do it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do it, no doubt. No matter how we get there, we're doing it on some kind of bike. Like we got our bikes. We got a safety e-bike in case some of the times get a little hard, rainy, and up the Virginia mountains. We have to do that. That's going to be fun. So what we're going to end up doing is we have a safety vehicle, and then we're going to bring my Jeep with the bike rack and all that stuff. So my wife's going to do a little bit throughout the day, and then I'm going to do the rest of it, or I'll do the full day.
Yeah,
She might do the next day.
yeah.
But some of the days we got 105 miles that we have to travel in a single day. So it's going to be a long days.
You already have the route planned out?
We do. It's all on the website. It's an interactive map, so you can actually see the elevation as well at the bottom of the map, and each location, the dates where we're going to be there. And yeah, man, it's going to be a trip. Let's say that. But it's everything. We did a big fundraiser in Arizona to help pay for this trip, so we have our hotels ready to go, our food ready to go, our safety vehicles ready to go. And I'm so sorry, I'm making this drag out a lot longer, but
Oh,
we had our local Florida Congressman Aaron Bean actually presented our initiative on the House floor about a month ago. So we're in the the records
nice.
on the House floor about this Pedal for Impact cancer awareness mission.
How did you get in front of the, politicians?
We went to our local congressional office, and then we were making contacts with some of these, like Wounded Warrior, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, Prevent Cancer Foundation. We partnered with them. We made a couple of these big contacts because there's like one other veteran group that is focused on cancer, but it's more of, they're doing great work, but they're focused more on like a GoFundMe-ish,
Yeah,
trying to raise money for these families, which is needed. And then there's also other ones that are like only focused on special ops. We are one of the only ones that are focused on any veteran of any era, of any status really. If you served, we want to try to fight for you to get better health care. That's pretty much our whole thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's something, man. It's a tall order, but we're gonna end up doing it, and we're gonna do recordings as we go. We're gonna meet. If you're one of your members or anything, if they're on our route, we would love to stop by and interview them. If they would, think they've been exposed, they had cancer, they're a caregiver, their loved one, sadly passed away, or something like that, or maybe even they were affected by Camp Lejeune water. We're trying to talk to as many veterans as we can leading up to this ride, and then actually on the ride itself, to bring to Congress, be like, hey, these are so many people. We have I'll send you a link if you don't mind. We have a change.org petition, which we got like 13 to 14,000 signatures to help our cause. So
Yeah.
got a lot of going on.
Yeah, send me links. I'll put it in my, newsletter and my social media and my website. I'll help you guys where I can.
Well, that sounds awesome, man. And if we have anyone, which honestly, I do know a couple people potentially that could definitely use a pick me up, I'll send them to you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And, yeah, do what we can, man.
Oh, yeah, man, for
Uh,
sure. Well,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, stay in touch there, sir. And,
Yes, sir, for sure.
I appreciate you coming on. Stick around for 1 second after I hit stop so I can make sure it's all uploaded nice and fine. If you stuck around this long, thank you for listening, and, until next time.